Hi, welcome to this tutorial, Rhino Reverse Engineering Advanced Mesh Processing for CNC Milling. So this is a kind of pro bono job. I had a subscriber email me. They're involved in a not-for-profit arts project and they want to make this giant horse sculpture. I think it's going on a roundabout. So they downloaded a mesh model from the internet and were not able to process it into a NURBS model for their sculptor. I thought I could do this with QuadRemesh, and I tried the whole thing and it didn't work so well, so I set about using mesh split to create different areas where I thought I could use QuadRemesh and then two NURBS. Just using my experience, I separated the areas, basically grouping complex areas in similar shapes, and I made them different colors so it would be easy to tell what was what. Started using the QuadRemesh tool and just remeshing the parts, and then using the two NURBS command. So the trick there is to obviously not have too high a count when you're doing the QuadRemesh. So once I'd QuadRemeshed all the parts, we did lose a bit of fidelity, so I started kind of sculpting in sub D some areas to get the shape correct before converting it back to a NURBS surface. So I actually made the mesh transparent, as you could see before, and kind of using the mesh over the sub D and just pushing and pulling out, in and out, to get the detail. Quite a careful process, but the sub D makes it quite easy to do, so that's great. So once I had converted all of my sub Ds into NURBS, and you'll notice I was using my layers quite well. I have a mesh sub D and NURBS layer. I trimmed the ends off because the ends tend to kind of round off a little bit on sub D. So I trimmed the ends of NURBS, and then I went about using blend surface and sweep to join the different NURBS areas together. This was a little bit tricky. I think it wasn't the best process looking back on it, but it was the only thing I could think of at the time. That said, I got there in the end, but this was the most time-intensive part of the job, and obviously the least accurate, I suppose. However, I was still constantly turning the mesh on and off to check. Now the ears, I wasn't that happy with the conversion I'd done on the ears. They'd lost their detail. So shortly you'll see I split the ears out from the mesh once I finish patching these holes, and do a QuadRemesh on the ear, and then position them. And I spent quite a long time working these to get them looking right. Now look, this model, I hope, well, I will send this model to the person that made the inquiry, but I hope they will just use these techniques as a foundation to do the job for themselves, and obviously take a bit more time. So I had to delete this left side ear, the original, and patch the surface before I could then boolean in my rebuilt ear. Now I used Cage Edit to pull it into shape, and then of course Boolean Union just to join it all together, resulting in a closed solid poly surface. So I thought I'd take this a bit further into an example of milling. So I created a bounding box and moved the bounding box over to the halfway point. Now if you were milling this for fibreglass, you would need a split mould, which is what I believe it's being made from. So you can see I'm identifying the undercut areas and splitting them out here. Just checking it all out. So now now you can access those areas. I didn't do a draft angle analysis, which if this was a real job you'd have to go through and do a draft angle analysis, and any areas where there are undercuts, you'd have to sort that out too. I created some locating bolts, just drawing holes and then doing the wire cut command, but you could also do the make hole command. Then I opened up RhinoCAM, which is what I use for this kind of job, which my business does do a fair bit of CNC milling and fiberglass fabrication. And I just did a simple roughing pass followed by not a finishing pass but a cleanup pass. And that's about it. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm starting to get quite a wide catalogue of videos now, so please subscribe and check my other videos out. And like this person has, you can email me with any specific issues, and I am available for online tutoring, and also my business Method CNC is available for 3D scanning, plug and mould creation, and composite part fabrication. Thank you.